Okay. And I think you all should now be able to see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Sounds good. Okay. So let me go ahead and just jump right in. Let me do just a brief introduction. Um, as I said before, good afternoon. And as Tamara introduced me already, my name is Joe Preciado. I am part of the Regional Workforce Development Team here at SMUD. And I'm here today to talk a little bit about one of our flagship programs. It's the Line Worker Training Scholarship Opportunity. This is a program that we offer in collaboration with IBEW Local 1245. So that's one of the represented unions that represents our line workers. Um, what I will do just in terms of just quick housekeeping, just so that you have an idea of kind of the flow of my presentation today, I'm going to go through all of the information that you would need to know about the Line Worker Scholarship. If you have questions, I would encourage you to use the chat function that's here in our Teams meeting. Um, and then what I'll do is at the end of my presentation, I'll allow plenty of time for questions and answers, and I'll get to as many questions as I can. If for whatever reason I run out of time, and what I will do is make sure that I note your question down, and I will either reply back to you, or I'll make sure that I connect with Tamar to get you an answer, get you the answer that you're looking for. So. That way it'll just gives me an opportunity to get through all of the information here, and that way you have the complete picture. So moving on to my next slide here. So just a quick, like I said, agenda for the day. I'm going to spend 15 or 20 minutes just really talking about all of these topics here. So I'll go through all of the overview and requirements for our line worker scholarship program, some of the benefits of the program, as well as the timeline from beginning today, kind of what to expect over the next few months. I'll talk about our in-person orientation as well as our 4-weekend training, which are two separate opportunities, and I'll explain the difference between the two. I'll talk a little bit about next steps, and then, like I said just a few minutes ago, I will allow some time for Q&A. Real quick, we'd like to put this in here. This is so, as you can see on the slide that's here, it says safety share. At SMUD, safety is a huge part of everything that we do for all of the jobs, including and especially for our line workers. In some cases, like I said, it's the matter of it's just like I said, keeping yourself and others around you safe. That said, just in terms of a safety share from my perspective, at SMUD, as an example of a safety share, we usually start all of our meetings this way. Since this is a virtual meeting, I'll say that that SMUD employees, we don't we do everything we can, and we don't use our cell phones when we're driving, as an example of just an opportunity to stay focused on the road and stay safe. So if you do happen to be driving and you're listening to this presentation, please be safe. If you can, find an opportunity to pull over to a safe spot, listen and engage with the presentation. And the last thing, the most thing we want to make sure is just that, again, that you stay safe, even as you're listening to this presentation virtually. So um, next slide. Jumping right in, our line worker scholarship training opportunity. This is, like I said before, it's a program that we offer in collaboration with IBEW 1245, and it's a free line worker skills training program. When I say free, we truly mean that. We're gonna do everything that we can to ensure that everybody who applies to this program and is selected to participate is able to do so, and that and we'll do, like I said, everything we can within reason to make sure that you're successful. Um, the program itself is designed to prepare all of the participants for electrical line work positions and utilities throughout the state of California. So while certainly, obviously I'm from SMUD, we are focused on our local electric utility. This position, the training that's provided in this position will prepare anybody who goes through it with the skills to apply for line worker positions at SMUD, other utilities like PG&E, Roseville Electric, and like I said, these are transferable skills that are in demand for all line worker or all utilities that employ line workers across the state. Um, The program itself is also designed to help all of our participants apply for SMUD's line worker apprenticeship program. So as you'll see in one of my upcoming slides, I'll kind of walk you through the timeline, but we are going to be, SMUD is going to anticipate or is anticipating going to be posting new positions for line workers beginning in January of 2026. So for those positions, these skills are really designed to make sure that you understand what the career opportunity is, what some of the skills, the required skills are, and that are in demand for applying, and also to prepare you for those open positions. I will say that this line worker scholarship opportunity to train is separate and apart from the line worker apprenticeship, which is an entirely separate process. And I can get into a little more detail there. But like I said, this is just like a training on the front end to ensure that you, if you are interested, you have some of the skills that you would need to be successful when you apply. And in terms of skills, like I said, we're going to teach you how to properly climb a pole. So proper pole climbing techniques. We will introduce you and ensure that you know how to use all of the related industry tools and safety gear that you would need to be successful in this position, and that you'll use that folks will use in this position. You'll certainly learn how to install equipment on the electric utility poles that you see. So installing cross arms and other equipment that goes up there, and also how to work safely on the ground, because typically our line worker crews include both folks who are up in the air on the poles as well as folks who are on the ground, and everyone supporting and working together safely as a team. My next slide here. So some of the requirements of this program. So you must be 18 years old. You must have a valid California driver's license or ID card. You must live within SMUD service area and also be able to lift at least 50 pounds with or without accommodation. You must also have a high school diploma or equivalent, so a GED as an example. And also, I want to really underscore this. I've talked about the things that you must have also, but I really want to focus on this last bullet point. Prior experience is not required for you to be able to participate in this program. So even if, again, if you have experience, that's wonderful, but again, not required to participate in this program. So like I said, our goal is to teach you all of the basics and to ensure that you are successful and safe in this position. The other note that you see at the bottom here, SMUD employees and their immediate family members are not eligible to apply for this program. We'll be screening that as part of our application process, but which I'll talk about in just a minute. The other thing to note here is that these requirements that you see here for the scholarship program will also be some of the same, you'll see the exact same things for our apprenticeship application when that comes up in January of 2026. I'll just pause here and just say, again, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat if it's safe to do so, and while you're listening to this presentation, and then like I said, I'll get to your questions at the very end. I don't see any. I'm kind of taking a look at it now. I don't see any yet, but like I said, if anything comes up in the meantime while I'm sharing this information, please feel free to drop that in the chat. Or like I said, at the end of the presentation, we'll have some time to for you to ask a question just over your we'll take you off mute and you can ask a question then. Moving along. So some of the benefits of this program, as I said before, this is a free program. The comparable programs that are like this in the Sacramento area and other parts of the state can cost anywhere from $4,000 to $15,000. But like I said, we're offering this for free. A big part of the reason why we do that is because we want to ensure that we are providing opportunity to folks within our local SMUD service territory. And again, we recognize that not everybody may come from or know somebody who's a line worker or come from this background. And so this is our chance to ensure that we have as diverse of an applicant pool as we possibly can for folks who are interested in doing this position. So like I said before, all of the necessary equipment will be provided for use during this program, during this training program. So everything from from, if you absolutely have a need for boots, we have boots that we can take care of you with. But like I said, there's no need to bring any tools. We do recommend that you come, and which I'll talk about in just a minute, some of the things that we do recommend that you have, but none of the equipment that's required for part of for this role do you need to bring. So like I said, just bring yourselves, come with the right attitude, and like I said, I'll jump into that in just a minute. But every participant who is selected for this program will receive a certificate of completion. That's both for the orientation, the half-day orientations, which I'll describe in just a minute, as well as for the weekend climbing schools that we're going to offer as part of this program. That certificate is going to be a very valuable tool for you if you decide to apply for a line worker position here at SMUD or with another utility. So everybody who participates will receive those certificates of completion. Like I said, it's going to be one of those items that's going to make you a competitive candidate for line worker apprenticeship programs. And also, like I said, the line workers, just to give you a sense, make a very decent living. It's very common for an incoming line worker to start out making $89,000 a year. On average in California. So this is what you see here. This wage is an average range, but again, it is hard work, but it is also well-paid work. So just to give you a sense again of kind of what this training is positioning all of its candidates for. Moving on to the next slide here. Go. So timeline, what can you expect as part of the timeline for this program? Right now, as you can see on the far left in yellow, we are in August, almost in September. We're right at the end here. We actually are having several informational webinars that one we had yesterday, which I will share a recording of when available with Tamar. One of the benefits of attending one of the other webinars on September 23rd or September 26th is that during those webinars, you'll have an opportunity to hear from some of our line workers so that they can tell you directly about what their experience was like, in our presentation yesterday, we had a line worker who is currently a line worker and an apprentice and went through this program when we offered it in 2024. So again, great opportunity to listen and hear more directly from some of those folks. Moving over from the left to the right, in the red section there, you must apply for this program no later than September 30th. I can't stress this enough. September 30th is the absolute last cutoff date to apply to participate in this program. And so you still have just over a month and a couple days to do that. In the flyer that Tamar shared with you for this session today, or I should say in the email that she shared, there should be a flyer and a QR code that has the information about that'll, if you scan it with your phone, or again, if you go to our website, be able to see and find the application there, and you just fill that application out. It shouldn't take any more than 5 or 10 minutes. It's pretty straightforward, but it does ask you for all of your basic information, including the questions that I talked about, questions about the requirements that I talked about before in a previous slide. After that September 30th cutoff date for the application to the program, in October and November, SMUD will be offering a mandatory in-person half-day orientation session. These are climbing orientation sessions, so you will be introduced to how to climb a pole safely and the equipment, and that you need to do so. Those half-day sessions will be on October 15th, 16th, November 11th, or November 2nd. It's not required so folks who are selected for this program are not required to attend all 4 of the half-day sessions that are listed there. Those are just there as an example. You'll have an opportunity, if you're selected for the program, to participate in the first half of the program. Then what will happen is you'll get an email from SMUD, and we'll invite you to sign up on one of those 4 dates for like I said, for the half-day session. that half-day session in October or November, we will make a again that's kind of that orientation to show to then for us to select a smaller number of applicants who will be participating in the scholarship. So you will get a notification directly from SMUD. It'll come from workforce@smud.org. And so very important that you ensure that you are checking your whatever email that you use to register and sign up for this program before September 30th. Make sure it's one that you're checking regularly. Check your spam boxes to make sure that the email doesn't inadvertently go to a different folder. So the other thing that follows that is, of course, beginning in late November, early December, we will have the 4-weekend climbing school. So these are, as you can see, the dates there: November 22nd and 23rd, December 6th and 7th, December 13th and 14th, and December 20th and 21st. So all of these dates here for folks who are selected to participate in the scholarship are mandatory and required. So if you are selected for this 4-weekend climbing school, be prepared to make yourself available for all of those 4 weekends. And then again, once the program concludes, you will certainly be ready to apply for a line worker apprentice position when those positions are posted on our careers our SMUD's careers website. So I'll go to my next slide here. So a little bit more about the in-person orientation. So these are the, if you remember from my previous slide, these are the half-day sessions that will be taking place on October 25th, 26th, November 1st, and 2nd. So folks who apply and are selected to participate in this will attend one of these 4 half-day sessions. During these sessions, we'll be talking certainly about a little bit more about our IBEW 1245 leadership, which includes the growth progression of this career opportunity. We'll certainly be talking about and teaching folks how to climb poles and raise cross arms up to the top of those utility poles. I mentioned earlier that we do want you to come with certain things to these sessions if you're selected. So a pair of work boots you must come with a pair of work boots. They do not need to be steel toe boots, but please do come with a pair of work boots. We also recommend that you wear a long sleeve shirt and a pair of pants. Jeans are perfectly fine. Just recommend that you wear these to the sessions, and then also highly recommend that you wear a belt for these training sessions. What you see here in this slide is a picture of someone who has a harness on as well as safety gear. So this is an example of the recommended clothing that you would be wearing, and then also some of the gear that we will provide in addition to the hard hat and gloves. All of that is provided. You do not need to bring those, like the hard hat, the gloves, or any harnesses, but long sleeve pants and boots, please do bring those to those sessions. A little bit more, like I said, and following that half-day orientation to the 4-week training, like I said before, you must be available to attend all of these dates that are listed here, both at the end of November and beginning and through the month of December. Like I said before, these positions will prepare folks for electric line work positions all across the state of California, and we'll be selecting 40 people. I mentioned that on the front end for those initial half-day sessions will be a much larger cohort, and then the folks who show the most promise and all the skills that we're looking for are going to be that group is going to be whittled down to about 40 people who will participate in these 4-weekend long training sessions. And your ability and the selection, much of the selection criteria will be based on your ability to climb a pole. You can see here in this picture that's on this slide the example of the folks that are climbing these poles up here. So that's you are going to be harnessed in, and you will be safe. But like I said, your ability to climb a pole, your potential ability to lift a cross arm to the top of these poles, your ability to follow directions. Safety is really key, and following those directions is one of those mechanisms that we ensure that folks are staying safe. And attitude, coming with the attitude that you can do this, that you were prepared, that you were willing and ready to do the job, is super key to being successful in this program. In terms of next steps, like I said before, everybody who's selected to participate in this program will receive an invitation from SMUD in the middle of October to register for the half-day in-person orientation session. So these are the half-day climbing sessions. All of the invitations will include detailed information about transportation, the clothing you need to wear, all of the things that you can expect for those half-day sessions. And like I said before, the email that you'll receive will come from workforce@smud.org. Be sure to check your spam folder so that you don't miss any notifications or emails from us if you are selected to participate. That is the presentation. I'm happy to answer some questions. I know that there were a couple of questions that were in the chat, so I'll take a look at those real quick here. And it looks like there was a question. So I'll start with my last question first, which is an easy one. Will you share the link? Jose had asked, will you share the link to the application? Yes, I will make sure that I drop that our flyer into the chat, and that way you have a copy of it so that you can apply for the program. There was another question. Apeli had asked, is there an age limitation over 18, such as 60 plus? No, there is not. There is not an upper age limit. There is only a minimum age limit, so you must be 18 by the time we begin those half-day climbing sessions. So yeah, great question. Thank you. Let me just double check with Tamar. I'm not sure how we're doing on time here, but I'll defer to you. And if there are any folks, if there's an opportunity for folks to raise a hand or come off mute and ask a question, I'm happy to answer those questions, but want to be respectful of the time that I have.
Yeah, we're still good on time. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask.
Sounds great. Or if you don't want to come off mute, that's okay too. You can certainly drop them in the chat. Keep an eye on those.
Okay, well, if there's no questions, or if you guys think of any other questions later, feel free to drop it in the chat. I can forward it over to Joe, or if he's still on, he can answer later. Well, thank you, Joe, for presenting. Definitely take advantage of this opportunity. And again, if you guys do think of any questions later on, feel free to reach out or add in the chat. I can send over that flyer again. I was trying to drop it in the chat, but wasn't able to. Yeah, definitely ask any questions. Thank you, Joe, for presenting.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I think I saw our next presenter pop in on here. Seth, are you still on? I saw him pop in a little bit earlier. He might be coming on in just a few minutes. Okay, we can wait a little bit. In the meantime, just to gauge with everyone, if you guys want to raise your hands or come off mute, was there anyone that after this next presentation wanted any resume support or LinkedIn support or a mock interview practice? Okay, no worries. Okay, we'll just wait a couple of minutes for the next presenter to get on here.
Hey, I just wanted to say thank you, everybody. This is Brandon. I'm definitely interested, and I will be pursuing this. I'm going to go ahead and jump off. Thanks again, Tamar, for facilitating this.
Thanks, Brandon. Have a good rest of your day. Is there anybody on here that's new to Cal Epic? You can just raise your hand if you've never taken any training with us or you've never heard about any of the programs that we do. Okay, one person. Oh yeah, so I can just, to fill up time, just talk to you guys a little bit about what we do at Cal Epic. So we offer a variety of different trainings in the electric vehicle space. One of our biggest trainings right now is in partnership with Rivian. They're a big electric vehicle company, so they're partnering with us to offer a 12-week, essentially an internship. So you'll learn how to do all the maintenance and repairs on Rivian's electric vehicles. And then after those 12 weeks, you have the opportunity to be hired as a service technician. It's a paid opportunity at $24 an hour for those 12 weeks. You do have to be open to relocation. So the 8 of those weeks, you're at our facility in Sacramento at Cal Epic. And then after those 8 weeks, you go on to an actual Rivian service center for the in-person hands-on portion of the training. And so relocation can be anywhere from Bay Area, mostly Bay Area, South San Francisco, Marin, and as far as out of state. We've had some people that wanted to go to Nevada or wanted to go to Arizona. So you do have to be open to relocation because that's where a lot of their job opportunities are. And if you guys are interested in that training, I can drop the link in the chat there for you to apply. Our next class is October 13th. So now would be a perfect time to apply. And then if that date doesn't work for you, or let's say you don't get into that class, we're doing 5 more classes next year. So I just dropped the link in the chat for that one. Eligibility, you do have to be 18 or older. You have to have a valid driver's license, clean driving record with no moving violations because you have to be insurable because you are driving the vehicles. And then other than that, just positive attitude, ability to learn, be able to work with people. So when you guys do apply, you'll hear back with the pre-screening, and then if you pass the pre-screen, you'll have I think 2 additional interviews with the Rivian recruiters, and then you undergo a background check as well. And then if everything goes good, no moving violations or anything, then you will be hired on for that 12-week training. So that's one of our most popular trainings right now. You don't have to have any experience, but let's say you worked on cars in the past, or we had someone that used to install washing machines and dryers. That's a perfect example of those transferable skills. Rivian just wants to see that you're able to work with your hands, you have a little bit of experience, or if you took a shop class in high school, things like that. But again, you don't have to have any experience also, but a lot of those things are things that people don't think to put on their resume, or they don't think to talk about in interviews. But that's something that they do look for, that you're able to use those transferable skills. So just things to keep in mind when you guys are applying for that one if you're interested. We also do forklift trainings. It's an electric forklift. It's a 1-day class. We have a training coming up on the 23rd of September. So coming up soon here. And I can go ahead and drop the link in the chat for that as well. Only eligibility for that one is you have to be 18 or older. You don't have to have a driver's license for that training. It might take you a little bit longer to get used to the forklift, but no worries, we can work with you on that. And it's a 1-day class, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You'll come in, you'll do the watch the lectures, the videos, work with the instructor, then you'll take your written exam and then the driving portion of the exam. So that's the other training that we do. And then we also have an introduction to jobs and green careers training. So if you're new to this industry, you're not sure about EVs, you're not sure about clean energy, and you just want to learn more about this space, we do an introduction class. It's usually about 2 days. You also get OSHA 10 certified in that class, which is just general warehouse safety. And that class is free as well. So, and it's virtual, so you can pop on just like this, listen in. And then we don't have dates on the calendar for that yet, but we will be posting them soon, and it'll probably be the end of August, or sorry, end of September, the last 2 days there. So those are the trainings that we offer at Cal Epic, and then we also do things like this, workshops, job readiness workshops once a month with different employers and resources presenting to you guys to overall help you find employment and get hired. So that's a little bit about what we do over here. Any questions on any of that, feel free to drop in the chat or come off mute. And in the meantime, I'm going to send a note over to the next presenter, letting him know that we are ready.
Hello.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry about that. My name is Dan Grevious. I am one of the workforce program coordinators at Grid Alternatives. My apologies. I was supposed to be presenting in Seth's place, and I'm finding that after the Windows 11 upgrade, my presentation has been erased. Yeah.
Oh no,
So,
technology.
yes, yeah, gotta love technology. Um, let's see where to go. So unfortunately, I don't have a slideshow. I believe we were supposed to be speaking about the IBT 200 course and curriculum. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, wonderful. So sorry everybody that I don't have a slide deck or presentation. But again, Grid Alternatives is the nation's largest nonprofit solar installer, and our course IBT 200 is a 5-week, 200-hour course that is designed to take people who are interested in solar or interested in becoming entry-level solar installers from knowing nothing to being qualified as entry-level solar installers. So the only thing that you need by the time you graduate our program is basically time in the job. Um, let's see. Gosh, it is not fun working without notes.
I just also dropped a link in the chat so people can navigate over to your website. What are any requirements that they would have for this training?
Okay, so requirements for the training, you need to be 18 years old. You need to be ready to work, have a genuine interest in solar, and because of some of our restrictions, like we don't have multilingual capabilities. People do need to be able to read, write, and communicate in English. Okay, so again, it is 5 weeks, or the total course is 5 weeks long. 3 weeks is in room or in classroom and lab time, so at our technical academy. 2 weeks, we actually take trainees out for live installs, where we're installing solar arrays on people's homes, which allows them to have a lot of real world experience. And we try to get people up to, I want to say it's at least 2 kilowatts installed before they graduate. And then our final week is the basically the summation of the program. We go over employment readiness, mock interview skills, financial literacy, resume skills, all those fun things. So again, it's designed to make sure that people are ready to enter into the world of solar as entry-level installers.
Is there any cost for them to the training?
Oh no, there's no cost at all. It is free to apply, free to attend, and upon graduation, there is a $1,400 stipend. So for 5 weeks at full time, it's not quite minimum wage. Actually, it's probably nowhere near minimum wage, adjusted for inflation, but it's better than nothing. That stipend is designed to make it so that it's not cost prohibitive for people who otherwise wouldn't be able to take the training And all we require is that you're over 18 and have a genuine interest in solar.
Okay.
If anybody else has any questions, I can answer those.
What does the application process look like? So they apply online. Is there any interviews? How long does it take for you guys to follow up?
It takes anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks for us to follow up. Right now, I've got a waiting list of about 40 people. But that's for the whole year. So as we get further and further along, people drop off. The application looks like sending me an email and then filling out our interest form. So that gets you on the waiting list. Once you're on the waiting list, and basically I know who you are. When classes open up, I will send out the application. It's an online application. It takes about maybe 5-10 minutes to apply. And let's see. Yeah, that's it. That's the application. And then from there, once we know that everybody is fit and ready to go, we will do our interviews. I want to say it's about between 3 and 6 weeks out. It takes that long to get through all the applicants, and then we decide, who's the best match for the class, people that are qualified, make sure people are, able to attend all 5 weeks. And then we start our class. Somebody asked, what is the weight limit? I'm not sure if that is a weight limit for a person. There is none, but we do want you to be able to lift between 30 and 50 pounds. Be able to lift 30 and 50 pounds, climb ladders, and work on roofs for multiple hours a day. So while those aren't hard requirements, those are things that we're looking for, or looking for you to be able to do by the time you complete the class. Let's see here. Let me open up my chat. Sorry, give me just a second.
No worries. And in the meantime, I can share my screen here if everybody can see that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. I dropped a link in the chat. Let me move this over here. To Grid Alternatives website. This talks a little bit more about the program too, everything he just went over. And it looks like week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and 5 of a breakdown, requirements. And then if you see down here, this sign up today link takes you over to that interest form that Daniel was just talking about, and then you guys would go ahead and fill this out too.
Yes. I'm going to go ahead and put my email address in the chat. That's one of the surefire ways to make sure that, that I know who you are and that you're coming from SMUD. So if you send me an email, all I need is name, email address, and phone number, and how you found out about us. Almost all of the emails I get are about IBT 200. So, just say IBT 200 in there and we'll get you started. Give me just a second here. The training takes place in Natoma. So we're about a mile east of the old Arco Arena. So off of North Market and Truxell. That was for Jose. Apparently, yes, that is for solar installation.
When is the next class starting that you guys are having?
Our next class is not until November, our next available class. We're getting ready to start a class on Monday, but that's in Stockton.
Okay. And how often do you guys do these trainings? Is it like every few weeks?
It is, we usually get one every couple of months. So it's a 5-week class, and we try to have between 2 and 3 weeks in between classes. So looking at my schedule here, the next class starts on October 20th. I do need to say that class space is limited. So because of our accreditation process, we're not allowed to have more than 12 people in class. So it fills up pretty quickly. Average salary after graduation, it's going to be nowhere near the line workers. We're starting for construction interns and construction assistants. Those are junior level solar installers, anywhere from $19 to $21 an hour. And the thing that I always say is, no, the pay is not as good as everybody would like it to be, but it is a foot in the door. Okay, somebody else is typing. And thank you for pulling up the website tomorrow. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Technology is great until you need it and then it stops working.
Yes. Yeah, that's the first time I've ever seen that happen. Okay, if there are no other questions from me, I think that's going to be the end of it.
Okay, well, thank you for coming on and presenting. We appreciate it. And then same thing for everyone else. If you guys have any other questions or you think of it later on, I think Daniel dropped his email in the chat, or feel free to reach out to me too, and I can send over the message. But thank you for coming on, Daniel. We appreciate it. Joe, you as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys. And does anyone else have any other questions or need any support on their resume or anything? Just put a hand up, drop something in the chat. Oh, I see one hand up. So for everyone else, if you don't need any other support or don't have any other questions, feel free to pop off. Thank you guys for coming on. Appreciate it. We do this once a month. So if you guys found out about this, I'm assuming you're already on our email list or our social media, so you'll hear about the next one. We do job fairs also, so definitely stay in touch. Keep a lookout on our social media for events and things. And then again, any other questions, feel free to reach out. And then if not, have a good rest of your day. And then for those of you that are still on, feel free to, I think I saw Angel's hand up first, so feel free to come off mute or drop it in the chat, whatever you need support with.